The parade is overrunning dramatically. They take a seat, have a rest as the Tribute and Promise procession comes by. Tribune and Promise, its motto was a 50p piece for 50 years of peace. The appeal closes today. Its patron, Dame Vera Lynn, has said that for many old age has brought worse hardship than the war. Restored vehicles from the Invicta Military Vehicle Preservation Society, all here at their own expense to give us a good show. And here a wartime memory for Her Majesty. In the spring of 1945, she joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service, where she learned to drive in an Austin Tilley van. There she is, and in the parade today, dressed up in exactly the same markings as that one. The Austin Tilley, to give it its full moniker, the Austin Light Utility 4. This one done 91,000 miles, but it is on its second speedo. Before the Tilley in the procession, a group of cars carrying members of the Victoria Cross and George Cross Association. Lakshman Gurung in the middle of the back of that group in their Rolls-Royce Phantom II, not many of those in Nepal. Lakshman of the 8th Gurkha Rifles awarded his VC for taking on 200 enemy troops in Burma. This is the band of the and corps of drums from Romford. Obviously, the musicians of the Marines are their heroes. These are representatives of the Merchant Navy Welfare Board and the King George's Fund for Sailors. This P&O lifeboat. They carry representatives of the Royal Navy, the Merchant Fleet, fishermen and the Royal Marines. And aboard there are cadets and veterans together. But this is the Royal National Lifeboat Institution in their 38-foot Mersey class. Her Majesty the Queen, the standby boat for the National Fleet. And not quite as good in the water, the Duck. Of course, the Duck did much work in Burma. Again, all lovingly restored by amateur enthusiasts. There were 21,000 and more ducks hatched, I should say, during the Second World War. Very few of them survived. Vehicles from the Royal Air Force. And the other band from Romford. The Royal Artillery Association. Morris quad with limber and 25-pounder field gun. Prince Philip knows it. Following the Royal Artillery Association, an array of armoured cars. If you can tell the difference between an AEC Matador and an M26 Pacific, perhaps you would write and let me know. Armoured cars and scout cars. Dingoes and Daimlers, Morris, White and Otter. Among the veterans being carried through the parade in this part of the procession, Charles Huffey, Company Sergeant Major, served in Arakan with the 81st West African Engineers. The white scout cars used extensively by British, Canadian and Russian forces during the Second World War. But as we enjoy watching the parade go by, it's worth remembering that all this has a very serious purpose, to try to overcome the poverty and isolation, the illness and disability, which prevents even participation in this last parade. Tribute and Promise is an alliance of 100 charities. Potentially they hope to raise 20-odd million pounds. And to put that into perspective, that's just about the amount that's being forecast as the jackpot at tonight's National Lottery. What they're doing most eloquently in this parade is promoting awareness of the plight of some of the older veterans, in the hope that their younger colleagues and the people in the community at large who owe so much to them will rally round to help as the going gets rough. Sherman tanks ploughing their way down the Mall, to be followed by 50 Willys Jeeps. each with a veteran aboard. The smartest of salutes. Amongst the veterans here, Warrant Officer Nick Keating, one of the old contemptibles, 103 years old and still on parade. As always, when you let vehicles loose in a parade, you have a little bit of a logjam. Anyone who saw the film Ice Cold in Alex will recognize the K2 ambulance. There are many people who are lining the route and in the parade today who are looking forward to that first trickle of moisture down the outside of an ice-cold glass of something. The ambulance is followed by an array of lorries from the British Army. Morris C4, Bedford MWD, Fordson WOT2, the Dodge 6x6, Morris, Chevrolet, some of the Chevrolet done out in long-range Desert Group colours, Austins and Fords, and Bedfords too, must give them a miss.
Own sitting room. And before the war ended, Elizabeth persuaded her overprotective father to let her join the ATS. To her own and her parents' delight, she became something of a mechanical expert, which stood her in good stead years later when Queen. A woman guest apologized for arriving late for dinner, saying the lavatory system in her room had got stuck. "Oh, I'll soon fix that," she said, and did.